Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alitzi, and on this channel we basically talk about spirituality, growth, healing, my own personal growth and healing, and how we can all create an abundant lifestyle for ourselves as I experience that and share my experience within that. So for today's video, as you read by the title, I'm going to be talking about some things that have helped me trust myself. And oh my gosh, when I tell you how much these things have literally changed my life, like mentally, physically, energetically, and how it's changed my vibrational frequency to be able to attract a lifestyle that I want to be living and that's meant for me. Literally so grateful that I get to share this now. I remember I wouldn't even be able to trust myself to get to places on time or even to do the simplest things because I would always ask myself, could I even do it? And so now that I'm at a point where I'm like, I know I can do it, and I know I can because I've gotten to where I'm at right now. Like, I've gotten to posting YouTube videos when in the past I would be so scared to even post anything, or I've gotten to pay for my own stuff, like have my own bills to pay, and like having that be like such an amazing abundant thing that I get to do. And just little stuff where it'd be like washing my dishes, making sure that I can nurture myself without the expectations of other people nurturing me. Yeah, if this is something that you want to listen to or continue watching, then continue watching. So I also do have my cup of tea and I am sitting in the car right now. But I want to start off with the number one thing that has helped me trust myself, and this is all based off my own personal experience, so this definitely does not have to resonate with you, but if you want to continue watching, you're more than welcome to. But also, if it does resonate with you, feel free to comment down below like things that have helped you, or what you're going through within being able to trust yourself. The main thing that helped me was having to need evidence for myself to know that I'm able to move out or live on my own. And that was something that I really needed evidence to, because I did grow up being manipulated, and I'm very open about being manipulated as a child, and even having people still try to manipulate me, but now me being able to see through that BS and be like, no, bye, you're done, and love myself a lot more. And for me to be able to be like, yeah, I know I can move out. I got this, you know what I mean? Like, I've done this before. I got that is by asking myself what it is that I need, that I feel like is gonna make me trust myself, and answering that question with full vulnerability. And some people may say that's unhealthy or that it's okay, but this is my own personal journey, and obviously you have your own personal journey, so which is why I say that some people will agree, some people will not. And I just found it really helpful for me personally to be able to have evidence for this specific situation. So I started analyzing and asking myself, okay, when was a situation that I never even thought that I could do, because whatever it was in the past or whatever I thought was going to happen in the future, what is something that I have now accomplished that makes me feel good about myself? And stuff like that were for me were getting into cooking, knowing that I can cook for myself, and I'm not expecting my parent to cook for me, or I'm not worried about what I'm gonna eat because I know that I can cook for myself. I know that I can walk to a liquor store or walk to a restaurant and just go eat, you know what I mean? So being able to do that for myself, and then also it also comes down to little things, where it's like showering every day or showering every other day if you don't shower every day. What I've been doing lately that has really helped me in being able to trust myself is sticking to my practices, saying my affirmations in the morning, with full intention of just being present for myself and being present for my affirmations. And on my phone I put like timestamps of like when to do it, so I'll get a notification that says time to journal, time to blah blah blah. And then around 7:30 I put time for yoga. I also saw this thing though that said it's very important to know when to do yoga, because of like it's better to do it when the wind is like cooler, when the atmosphere is like cooler and stuff like that. Also, I got a new book, so I don't have a reminder on my phone for this, just because for me reading is something that has never really been so easy to do. I used to struggle really hard with like being able to sit down, not because I do have ADHD, but regardless I still have been reading a lot more, so that's always a plus. And being able to just stick to those, even if it's not the exact time that I do it, but knowing that throughout my day I still want to get these things done, and you know, sticking to them is something that has helped me so much to be able to trust myself, because it's like affirming within myself and like knowing that no matter like what I'm doing that day or no matter what happens that day, I still return back to my practices, and I know that I have to get these done because I want to, and that's what's going to nurture me. The next one, which I also already mentioned, was prayers and affirmations, and those I put together because I feel like affirmations are prayers, and when you pray it's also like affirming to God, the universe, whatever you believe in, just like where you're at in that moment, and like what how you are aligning yourself with the universe and with the energetic field of like vibrational frequencies and stuff like that. Made me see things from a different perspective, of like a higher perspective. So it's not only my version of like the ego or the mind trying to portray these perspectives, but also taking a step back and allowing the universe speak through me, for me to actually be able to see things from higher perspectives, if that makes sense. So you don't even have to like specifically like get in a prayer position and like say I am beautiful, I am this, I am that, I have this, whatever, but it's literally just taking a deep breath and being present for yourself and allowing yourself to be present in that moment for yourself and feeling the truth of what you're saying. So being 100% vulnerable and honest within myself and within how I'm feeling, within how someone made me feel, how I'm feeling, whether that was bad or whether that was good, or whatever feeling you were feeling, just being 100% with yourself every single time, saying it out loud, and you know, observing it and allowing yourself to feel it. That is something that has helped me trust myself so much, because it lets me know that I'm no longer pushing away my emotions, or I'm no longer trying to you know, find a way around feeling my emotions. It's like I'm here, I'm present, I know how I can feel, and I know that it's not a reflection of who I am as a being, but it's just something that is happening that I get to observe as I feel it, or as I think whatever I'm thinking. Just being able to observe it, because I know that I no longer have an attachment to the thoughts that I think or the emotions that I feel, because I know it's just increments of things that are happening. Loving myself, and this is a huge, like, this is just like a broad, is that the word, broad topic, where self-love and goes into many different titles of like self-love goes into like self-dedication, you know, showing up for yourself, all these different things. But a couple things that I wrote down: having dinner dates. Cooking is also something that I really love to do. I love to you know, try new things in the kitchen, just like mess around with ingredients and see what I come up with. As you saw in the clip, I made some like a mango sushi things, which I have no idea if that's actually a thing. I have no idea what I was doing, but I just wanted to try it because I thought about it and I was like, that might taste good, that might not, who knows, but let's try it. You know what I mean? That show me that I love myself, and like reading and resting as much as I need to be resting without judging myself for how much I do rest or how much I sleep, or if I sleep in. That was also something that I had a difficulty doing. So if you want to understand that a bit more, make sure to like DM me on Instagram or comment it down below, because that within itself, like being able to take naps and without judging myself, was something that I had to go through and experience. So I think that's always really interesting, because not a lot of people would think like, oh, why would you judge yourself for wanting to take a nap? But for me, it was something that I actually had to deal with. And yeah, so if you want to know more about that, let me know in the comments down below. Just like really doing things that I know make me feel good and like nurture me in that way of like, these are the things that give me like that dopamine and that feeling of myself as an inner energetic being, if that makes sense. Setting boundaries and saying no. And this is also something that I had to come to terms with and kind of like really exercise it, to actually start saying these things and saying no, and or saying yes to whatever it is I want to say yes to. But setting boundaries and saying no has shown me so much respect for myself. And within saying no to things, it doesn't mean that you're like being petty, or it doesn't mean that you're being like selfish if you say no, which are all things that I had to experience when I was really starting to set boundaries, and when I was realizing that I was like, hold up, cut the cameras. Why are you doing that? Why do you think it's okay to act like that? And then seeing for myself that I was the one that was allowing that by not saying anything or whatever it was. So saying no, setting boundaries, and a lot of times people are gonna respect that. And you know, it's kind of a stressful thing to set boundaries nowadays, I feel like, because we've grown into this society where it's not common to set boundaries and have people respect that. Because I know in a lot of households, in a lot of religions, in a lot of cultures, when you say no to adults specifically, or to anyone that's older than you specifically, it's looked at disrespectful. Which in my case, in a Mexican household, that's what it's looked at that's how it's looked at when you say no, or don't say hi to someone. I know it's looked at as disrespectful, which is also something that I had to work through within myself. So knowing that saying no does not mean you're being like disrespectful. It does not mean you're being selfish. It does not mean that you're being like egoistic. It does not mean any of that. So yeah, I feel really strongly about this, as you can tell. So yeah, saying no, setting your boundaries, set your boundaries, because although there's people that will not respect them, it's still important for you to state them, because it's no longer about if the person's going to respect it or not, but it's knowing within yourself that you have the respect within yourself to say no, and to know what you're going to tolerate and to know what you're not going to tolerate. Actively believing in myself and in my dreams. And what I mean by actively is consciously believing in what I'm doing. For me, that would be YouTube, music, editing, so many other things. Like literally painting is something that I want to like do and stuff like that. And actively and presently consciously believing in these things that I'm doing, because I know that in some way it's nurturing me, it's nurturing my true inner being. So actively believing in myself and in my dreams, and just knowing that I'm doing what I need to be doing for me to live out my dreams and goals. Whether that gets me money or not, it doesn't even matter, because I know that it's something that I want to be doing. So, and money will flow to you regardless of what you're doing, as long as it's meant for you. And the last thing that I want to share with you guys that has helped me so much in just being able to trust in myself is being a good, genuine person. And you may be like, wow, being a good, genuine person, like, aren't we all? But no, literally not all of us are. And I'm sure we've all experienced people who are shitty or crappy. But knowing that within my own intentions, within my own words, within what I do, within what I put out, knowing that it's always in its best intentions, knowing that I'm always speaking words with love, mindfulness, and patience, knowing that my intentions are always good, even if I get like annoyed or irritated at times, knowing that even in those times, within my own journey, like, I've gotten to a point where even when I do get annoyed or like pissed off, I know that I can come back to my breath, and I always take deep breaths before I even say anything, or I might not even say anything at all and just breathe and sit with myself when I do experience stressful people or stressful moments. So observing instead of reacting to anybody who is like toxic or projects onto you and stuff like that. And not even with like just people, but sometimes it can happen with like yourself as well. Like your mind can like say negative things about you, and knowing that you can always return back to your breath. So yeah, knowing that my intentions towards myself and towards the world and the universe and everything around me is always in its best intentions, even if other people don't see it that way. Like in my own experience, my own growth that I've had within myself, mentally, emotionally, physically, like everything, people around me have seen it as me being cocky, or me being too much, or me thinking that I'm like the shit, or stuff like that. And I want to say that all these things are coming from people who don't know what it's like to go within yourself, to learn to love yourself, to have to struggle. Although you don't have to struggle to live a beautiful life, but to experience struggle and come up from that struggle. Like, so yeah, though there will be people that will see it as like weird, and like you think you're the shit now, so like, you know, or a lot of people will say you've changed, and continue changing, continue evolving, because we also have to understand the perspective of like, so many people don't know what that's like. So many people have never experienced what it's like to be present within themselves. So many people continue to push their emotions away with drugs and with alcohol or with people and stuff like that. So I think within that, and within knowing that my intentions are always at its best, and my words are always at its best, with speaking with love and with kindness, then I know how other people perceive that is not my responsibility, because I know I'm good within myself. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Let me know what else you would want to see or hear or anything like that. I love you, and I give grace for you, and I will see you in the next one. See ya!